You back up?
My usual every hour crash, yeah. Love it.
Again, as I said, as bad as I hate my internet, it is about as rock steady as you can get.
It's not the internet that crashed, it's the game.
Oh, okay. Alright. 29. Alright, continue where you were at. Let's start that back over again. And people don't like payment information. Go.
Yeah, it's as long as they don't make it so that once the week is over, they don't automatically charge you, like I think Blizzard has done a couple times. That will do a long way towards getting more people in.
Sure. I tend to find the 7-day free trials and stuff harder to do that, other than Blizzard, who tends to... One of the reasons why I left the game was a lot of the good developers kind of gave up on it after a certain point. You can tell it's just kind of like a money grab now, and they don't care. But that's another rant for another day. Most of the time after a free trial ends, like you have to go out and buy the game because it doesn't let you go any further until you put in the game key. So I would hope they wouldn't automatically charge people for doing the game right away, but generally you need the license key to continue.
Yeah.
So, interesting. I had a thought and I totally lost it, so that's a shame. All right. Anyone else have anything they want to say on free trial accounts?
It's good. Just no free to play crap.
No free to. It's not going free to play.
He'll have more bodies in PvP to pile up.
That's true, but then I'll have them on my side though, because all the kitties will show, and I will re-roll. At that point, I will re-roll if it gets that bad.
It probably will. You know it.
Yeah, it will. All the kitties love their elves for some reason.
Oh, I love me an Altmer.
Oh, get off the show now. Just go. Just go.
Bye-bye.
Just kidding. No, I'm not. Leave. I hate Altmer. All right. Next up, Deltia's probably favorite thing and the thing he's been begging for a long time now. If you guys didn't notice, they announced another one of those little figurines from, I guess, was it Symboite? Yeah, Symboite Studios, who does little ESO collectibles. They also do like a Skyrim collectible. You see the little Dovahkiin, which is kind of neat. Well, the last one they did is they did the Akaviri and the Akaviri warrior with the Fighters Guild guy with the Akaviri warrior, and he had like a little Guar pet. It's pretty sweet. And it came with an in-game Skib pet, which is neat. They came out with a Nord now yesterday, I guess it was, or the day before. And Deltia, what pet did it come with?
It's our favorite wolf that we've been begging for, that the Steam people got that we couldn't even just buy. So yeah, they got that. It's the Whiterun wolf, I think, right?
Now, yeah, it's the Whiterun wolfhound. I didn't even think about this until you just mentioned it. Theirs was the Whiterun wolfhound too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the Steam one.
Because I know they were saying, oh, guys, when a lot of people mentioned, like, hey, can we just buy a key and upgrade? And like, no, you can't. A lot of us were a little upset with that because I know you really wanted that pet.
Oh, yeah, bad. I'm not a pet guy, but a dog, come on, gotta have it.
But they were talking about doing another one for people called the Riften Wolfhound. So I guess this isn't a Steam exclusive anymore if it's the same one that the other people get.
Guess not, but hey, I don't care. I don't care about the Steam people. I want my dog in game.
I just want my dog.
Yep.
Nice. So how long approximately did you wait, Deltia, before you bought it?
As soon as you text messaged me, which I looked at my phone, I got the Elder Scrolls tweak, went and got my wallet, ordered it immediately. Yeah, it's getting
Threw
ordered.
your credit card at the screen?
It's getting ordered, yeah. Like there's no talking with the wife about, no, it's getting ordered.
Yeah.
You can tell how much...
If you got a problem, we're getting a divorce. Just saying.
You can tell how much I want this. I'm literally ordering it right now.
The figurine's pretty cool, too. I mean, I'll put it back.
Don't worry about the figurine. I don't even care about that.
Yeah, but...
I just want that dog.
I gotta justify it somehow.
Well, here... No, you don't. Blizzard does this. They sell their in-game pets for $20, and you get nothing physical.
Quit bringing up that evil company. Stop.
I'm just saying, people in the past have had no reason to justify
At least we are getting a physical figure along with it.
Exactly. This, and I'm not speaking condemning wise because I've bought their virtual pets and stuff like that. But you spent the money for the virtual pet, and that's it. Like, you got nothing. At least now, like you said, you get a little physical something to hold on to as well as it. So you're getting a little bit more than you would before. And trust me, this guy's going to be sitting on top of my server rack at work, guarding the servers. It's going to be great.
Yep.
Awesome. It's great. I love the... We were talking about this earlier. I love the fact that ZOS and Bethesda tend to favor the physical swag more than the in-game stuff. Like, they do some in-game like this. They offered you a pet when you buy the physical stuff. Well, that's awesome. They did it with the Guar pet, too. Like, I have... I don't have my camera on at the moment, but I bought the Guar hatchling for Thais and I. So I have a cute little Guar. He's sitting here. His name's Franklin. He's really cute. But I also got a Guar pet in the game as well, which I thought was awesome. Go back up on my TV. Yeah, right there.
It's actually really cool because one of the guys in my guild has the Guar pet in game, and they actually brought that into RP. And what they're planning to do is that once the Guar mounts come out, they're going to get a Guar mount and have had their Guar pet basically grow up to the size that they can ride on.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. The Guar pet is adorable, by the way, because if you sit there, he gets bored and hungry, so he starts munching on stuff, and you can hear him munching on grass. It's cute.
It's great.
You're sitting there doing your banking, like, all right, and then he gets bored, walks off, and starts eating stuff.
No, stop eating that. That is not for eating.
You do not eat people. No.
Stop eating that chair.
I love him. He's my favorite pet of all the ones so far, just because he does. If you stand there, he gets bored and starts walking off eating stuff. It's great. All right, so if you haven't, you're listening to our show, guys. You probably love this game as much as we do. You want a Whiterun Wolfhound. Go buy this and, sit it on your desk.
I've literally just finished buying this.
Excellent.
Now I'm tempted to buy it, but I don't know. Because I just bought the Lords of the Fallen. I'm just like, do I want to drop more money on something else?
Yeah, but
spend
you'll
all
be
your
supporting
money.
the game we all love.
We do.
But you'll be doing it more. You'll be showing your love more.
Just don't let your wife know.
Yeah, just don't tell
I will not tell Vanessa.
her. Just hide it from her. If she asks, be like, listen, this had to be done. It was important.
Just bring it into work.
Podcast. It's for the podcast. Bring it into work.
Business expense.
There.
Yeah, write it off as a business expense. I needed it so I could give an accurate review on the podcast.
Come on.
There you go. It's tax deductible.
Excellent.
All right. So, moving on to the next bit of news. Update 5 launches on Monday. Confirmed.
Finally.
Ermagerd. So, Deltia, you had some praise to do about Update 5.
Yes, I did. Oh, let me get my little notebook out. Since I had to go to a wedding this week, and all know, if you follow me, I wasn't too excited about it because I don't like to get out of my basement that I can wear sweatpants and I have to wear a stinking suit. But I did it. And so I was looking over the patch notes. I printed them out, I made my wife drive so I could go over these patch notes and just really sift through them. And I don't know what was 10 shows ago or so, I went on a rant about Werewolf, one of the many. And I said they need to have some benefit that the werewolf gets outside of the form besides the ultimate game. Well, they must have listened or just figured it out on their own because werewolves now, according to the latest patch notes, will get 15% stamina regeneration passively. That's in the humanoid form as well. That, and along with slotting the one ultimate, you're going to get 6 ultimate now. They upped that every 3 seconds while taking damage. This is going to go perfect with my Dragon Knight tank. I'm so excited about this. I mean, that's not all that they're fixing. They're doing a lot of cool stuff. A lot of the weapon skill lines are getting a major change. Even one-handed sword and shield's getting a lot of different abilities.
Two-handed pretty much got completely revamped.
Two-handed got, and so did Bo. Bo's going to be nasty now. They did a lot of really good stuff with Bo I liked. And I'm not going to get into all the details, but a couple things I really liked that were interesting that some PvPers might like. When you were silenced in PvP, meaning someone cast a negate on you, you couldn't swap weapon bars. That was an annoying bug. That's getting fixed. Nightblade's one ability that really no one used, which is like the 50 ultimate cost one, is now getting a huge buff. Basically, you do 20% more damage to the target for 6 seconds. And it costs 50 ultimate. So there's going to be some new interesting builds based off of that. A bunch of different things, like Nova didn't have an AoE cap. It was the one ultimate that didn't have an AoE cap. We killed like 15 people, I think it was yesterday, in an area, and it just nukes everyone. So that's getting fixed. But I'm really excited about Werewolf. I think it's right where it needs to be. I think Vampire Change will be right where it needs to be, where there's a lot of risk, but there's some reward. So poison damage isn't nearly as prevalent as fire. I'm still going to use a poison glyph, but if you're waiting to try Werewolf out now, it would definitely be the time. And then some other cool things. For those who like doing Dragonstar Arena like I do, I really love it. They added a lot of different stuff. I think levels 6 through 10, you get a chance at a purple drop. Level 10 specifically, I forget what you get. You get like a specific weapon with an enchantment like that makes your abilities do different things. Like Ransack now heals you, or a Carve like does fire damage or something like that. So there's more incentive to do the arenas over and over and over now. So you're going to see some new gear coming out of that stuff. So yeah, it's going to be super awesome. A lot of stuff to do. We tested City of Ash. A bunch of us did. Aggelos, me, Loa, and then Kipster. And so that's really fun. So if you're looking for a real, this update's enormous. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Don't forget the awesome things such as pledges and crafting writs as well, which add
There's
a
so
type
much.
of dailies to the game.
There's so much going on in the game that it's a really needed, and it's gonna be great for those people that I see a lot of people that leave the game because there's nothing to guide them to do something. And some people don't need that. I don't, but some people do. They need like structure. They need, there's a big, huge quest thing I can do every day. This is going to keep those people in the game.
Sure. Well, I think we talked about this a few episodes back, some of the best MMOs are those that have a sandbox within a theme park MMO.
Yep.
Because people are still guided to where it is, because unfortunately for the mass majority, and I include myself in this to an extent, we like being guided. I say to an extent. Freeform, like sandbox games where it's like, I have no creativity. I dig a hole and I think I'm awesome, but no. But having a little bit of a guided structure, but allowing people to go off the track makes, I think, the best. And I think that's what made the original games so good, such as Skyrim and all that. Because they did have a trek. They did. They were a theme park within a sandbox. So it's like, hey, this is where you need to go. But you don't have to. You can always come back later. Mm-hmm. But it still told you where to go to an extent. Like, it's like, listen, you're going to have to talk to this guy eventually. So when you do, great. Otherwise, go pick flowers. And that makes the best amount. Enough freedom to let people kind of do what they want, but still, when they kind of hit that point where they're like, I don't know what I want to do anymore, the game goes, why don't you try this? And it's great. I like it. Morriel, what do you think about Update 5? You had any chance to play it, like on the PTS?
I have actually not had that much chance to play it. I injured my wrist recently, like just as I was about to really start playing a bunch of stuff in the game. So I've been kind of relegated to mostly RP over the last couple weeks.
Okay. How about, well, I was going to ask Knight, but Knight, have you done anything with Update 5?
We've talked about it.
Do you even play Elder Scrolls?
I do. I mean, like, I play like if it's like Skyrim a standalone, but
sure.
I'm an RP guy. So, like, really, all my characters, I think the highest level one I have is 39, and that was, like, literally since I got the game.
That's because, good sir, and I do listen to your podcast, it's because then during your story, you decide to kill them off and delete them. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a habit. Like,
Attention.
if I kill a character, I will not play that character just because it doesn't feel right. Like, I have Cairo. I haven't touched because I killed him off. Knight's Knight. I don't touch him because I killed him off. So, as long as Decanius doesn't die in the Redwater Buccaneers, he should
have
be.
a
Yeah,
he
he
may have a
made.
chance of getting a max level. Maybe.
Yeah, he has a chance.
One day.
All Knight's Knight is playing a whole new metagame. It's kind of like hardcore mode in Diablo. Your character dies, that's it. No fun. Start over, man. That's it.
That's right.
Nice. Well, you know what the best part is about this game is you can play it how you like to play it. Yeah, it's great. I love it. All right, well, guys, that's the end of our game news section. Does anyone have anything they want to say about anything we talked about before we move on? No? All right.
Actually,
Okay.
Rivian12 brought up in the chat that you need an RP session where a mate resurrects one of your deceased tunes. We're actually going to do that with like the skeleton costume.
Oh,
Or, like,
that's...
you put on the skeleton costume, we just resurrect them.
Nice.
Now you can bring back a character, but he always has to wear the skeleton costume to be bound
Always.
to like a necromancer.
Oh, man. That would be pretty cool, though. But you know what? Decanius is a cursed pirate. It's going to be very hard for this one to die.
Very hard for this one to die. Nice.
And he's not
Khajiit,
Khajiit. I don't know why I said it like that. He's an Imperial, so...
Khajiit are the best pirates. Just
We have a Khajiit pirate with us.
okay, good, because no pirate crew is complete without a Khajiit. Just saying. All right.
A thief, yeah. He's a good guy.
All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is our Elder Scrolls discussion, and one of the reasons why we brought along ESO-RP, because it's going to be all about role-playing in the Elder Scrolls Online. So, woo! All right, let's see how I'm gonna go ahead and ask you guys a question, and I don't care which one answers first. But I'd like to hear from both of you guys, and then Delty and I can comment in. I'll ask a question. You guys kind of elaborate on it, and then we'll kind of talk about it. So first off, Delty and I will have no opinion on this whatsoever, but how did you guys get into role-playing in the Elder Scrolls Online? I don't care which one starts first. Go ahead.
You can start Night.
All right, so basically, I was just actually playing the game, surprisingly enough. And this is before I got into an RP guild. I was just going to a stall to buy or repair some gear, and I happened to cross a few people, and they were RPing. And I was like, I like RP. So then I kind of just walked over, and I kind of just RP'd out like, hey, I'm looking for these these fur boots. Do you know who sells them, but RP-wise, right? So I was doing this all in character. And that's just kind of how it happened. I just ran across some people RPing, and I jumped in. They invited me to a guild, and that was the end of it, end of my gameplay. Then I just RP'd the rest of the time.
And he's not actually playing Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, I see.
Hey, we're making our own content.
I like it.
Yeah.
You guys are the creative people who would thrive in a sandbox. They're just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you need the lore, though. I mean, Elder
yeah.
Scrolls, you really benefit as an RPer in this game because there's so much history. And to be able to RP, to the fullest extent, you need that lore.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And the best part is the lore almost contradicts itself because they wrote the lore almost like if they were role-playing out the lore because it's told from the perspective of the people in the game. So it changes depending who you're talking to. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I should do mine then. I was actually a part of an RP guild since beta. And I had been on a really big Skyrim kick right when I heard about this game, and all of my friends from college were just making fun of it, and I was like, well, I don't really know, but I'll try it out. So I got a beta key, and I played it, and I really enjoyed the game. And so I started looking around to see who all else was RPing, and I found an RP guild And I hung out with them for a while and ended up joining the game, doing early access with them. And I've been sort of going around from there and with different groups.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, how does this game in particular support roleplay in the community?
Well,
That's kind of difficult. You have something to say?
yeah, I was going to say, first of all, the devs push it a lot by like posting events, more so than like I came from Realm Reborn and Guild Wars 2, and it was never that amount of involvement as far as like RP community goes. So it's really nice to see them posting events that we have going, and it brings in like bodies to RP with, so you always have some like something going on, right? It's not like dead or stagnant or anything like that. But like I said before, I mean, graphics wise, it helps because it's kind of realistic. You know, it's not like that game that must not be named that looks like a 1982 16-bit. Where how do you RP?
Was that WildStar? Oh,
Oh,
That's, you
it's
know,
true.
like it's just like how do you get immersed in a game, you know? And this game really does have the visual assets to kind of get you into it, as well as the story. There's great voice acting. I mean, the NPCs are so good that you can almost use them in your roleplay, and we do a lot of the times.
speaking of visual aspects, like just the way you're talking about it, I felt like I just want to jump in here. If you guys who played the game never really spent a lot of time on the body and character creation, they have some interesting markings you can do, and it changes. The best part is they change based on racial, the racial culture around you. But there could be things like I've seen entire bodies being burned. Roleplay wise, I specifically, as I'm designing a character in my head, I'm like, this guy's going to be a werewolf. I have an Imperial Dragon Knight. There's actually a werewolf bite on the shoulder. He has that. So if he takes off his shirt, he has this werewolf bite. My sorcerer, I plan on making her a vampire. She's got a vampire bite on her neck. Just things like that to go, yeah, look, got scars. Yeah. It's neat. So if you've never really heavily dug into the character creation, like I spent like 6 hours making my character. I really did. I did. I was in there for a long time.
Nice.
It's not an exaggeration. It's give or take maybe an hour or so. It's not an exaggeration. I was in there just, and the worst part is I was sitting there with a piece of paper writing it all down like, okay, I like this marking right here. And then I'm like, but I also like this one, so I'd play around. But then I'm like, oh crap, if I use this one, it messes with this facial style. I have to change it, and that just makes me throw out my whole list and start over.
Yeah, and like RP wise, the character creator is like really awesome because like you said, it changes upon race and whatnot. But like if you're Dunmer, give yourself red eyes. You can be like pure, you know. Mm-hmm. Or story wise, like my backstory to Canius, he's a pirate. He's all burnt up. He has burn marks on the face and on the back, on his chest, because he wrecked in a pirate ship. Nasty little battle, and that's how I got those scars. So I was able to create the character around my backstory with the tools that they provided with.
That's awesome. Then I know, speaking of that one game that you shouldn't name, there was an actual mod that was created for RPers to actually add body modifications because they did not have anything like that. You totally weren't really allowed to have it, but it's nice that the game itself does support that kind of thing, that you can build a character how you want to just at the start. And I do like the racial unique stuff. Like if you've not really paid attention, there's certain things that you can get on some characters, but not others. Specifically, I'll talk about the Dunmer. They're the only ones that can get house tattoos of the great houses of Morrowind. No one else can, just them. It's really neat. Really, really neat. Okay. I do notice that the RP community, like just the devs, Delta, you can even say this as well, they're always, my Twitter's always going off for join so-and-so at RP event at whatever the location is. It's really neat to see their level of dedication to getting these events out there.
It was actually really interesting because there's this big storyline over the last month or so, actually about a month ago, over in EP, where they were having a plague broke out in Ebonheart, and they actually pretty publicly advertised this, and the devs advertised it, and you had a bunch of people making these throwaway alts that ended up just dying in the middle of this riot that happened in Ebonheart. And it was really interesting.
We have a question in chat, which I guess we can go ahead and answer if you guys know it. Delty, maybe you might know this one as well. From Riven12. I have a bit of an RP question. At the moment, I have 8 characters. No real chance I would delete one to create a new. So, is the soon-to-be deleted from game Cold Harbor rags bound, or can I buy a set before the patch hits?
They're bound.
I think they're bound, yeah. So... bound. Sorry. You're gonna have to roleplay one of your characters, Riven, that dies and then delete them. That's the only way to do it. Just delete them.
Or get someone else to make a character. No, you can't.
If they're bound, you can't even give them.
Yeah, you can't. Never mind. Sorry, friend.
Sorry. You're seriously just gonna have to, Russian roulette one of them, spin the dice, and see which one dies.
You can always pretend, like, get yourself some really, really base cloth armor and just RP it like it's ragged and whatnot.
Or you could go to Strauss Mackay and get the servant outfit. It's like a blue shirt and ragged pants.
Yeah. And I mean...
that's a costume.
Imaginative enough to just roll with it.
Yeah. It's kind of neat. All right, cool. Yeah. Delta, do you have anything you want to throw in here about the how the game supports RP?
Well, I'm not into that, as you know, but I like how the developers don't just support one community. Other games I've played, it was just PvE, and they had a little bit of PvP, or just a lot of big emphasis on PvP. This one, it seems like they really try to open it up and not just make it, one avenue game. So RP, sure. PvE, PvP, they look at different facets of the game. I think that's great because they're, people like to do different stuff, and so you gotta have a development team that has an emphasis on what everyone thinks is fun, not just what the certain crowd is.
Sure. And this kind of sticks to their mythos that they start at the very beginning of the game, where they're like, we're not gonna cater to just the Elder Scrolls fans or the MMO. We're gonna do both. A lot of people are like, yeah, there's no way you'll be able to do this. But yeah, you're right. They do cater, and the game that should not be known, as much as they do have a heavy emphasis on certain things, they do add a lot of quality of life stuff that does tend to add towards the casual people and the whole wide amount of people. Games that only go after one audience, perfect case in point. If no one's been following WildStar lately, I feel bad for the developers because it seems like they're in the pooper at the moment. But they targeted only the hardcore raiding crowd. Now, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in that hardcore raiding crowd. But it forced away so many of the casual people and the people who like to raid, but not, 20 hours a day, a week kind of thing. So a lot of people left, and now the game's hurting very, very badly, to the point where they lost like huge amount of developers because they're not bringing in the subscription numbers. Plus, I think NCSoft has something to do with that. But conspiracy theories aside, you have to cater as much as Deltia is far from a casual. You still have to cater a little bit to all the aspects of your community, whether it's role-playing, whether it's PvE, solo, PvE, organized group contents or raids, small-scale PvP, and large-scale. There's a lot of areas that people like to play, and that's how they like to play their games. And if you give them the tools to do that, they will stick around for years to come. And gladly so.
Yep.
Okay. So, in your opinion, guys, and this is something that I kind of want to talk about because I used to roleplay a lot in my younger days. Now, this is probably 10 years ago or greater. What constitutes as role-playing to you guys? I'd like, Knight, why don't you go first? Tell us what you think constitutes as role-playing, then we'll Morriel, and then we'll kind of talk about it.
All
right. So for me personally, if I were to come across roleplay for Elder Scrolls in this game would have to be, you'd have to be lore friendly, of course. Proper grammar and chat. So like basically you would give description. You wouldn't, I mean, you can always use emotes, but you always like describe it. I don't know. It's creativity and a stable story. Like if you RP with people, for me, real true RP is a continuation of character without breaking character. And that's really important because like if you go up to somebody and, hey, I'm a pirate, but then next time you want to RP with this guy, they're like an Argonian slaver, it doesn't make much sense. So to me, it's like stay in character, be lore friendly, have fun with it, get involved, be in that character's shoes. Like that's just really RP. For me, at least.
All right, cool. Morriel, what about you?
Well, you sort of asked, what constitutes actual RP. There's kind of, it's kind of a different question to ask. It's sort of what intensity of RP are you on? Because anytime, like whenever you're playing something like Skyrim or Morrowind, Oblivion, you always, even if you were just going through like playing the game and dicking around, you still had some sort of idea of who this person you were dicking around as was. And even like, you spent so long looking for your character, that's kind of a very, very light version of RP. Where the more what you call actual RPers are doing things where they fully play their character for different amounts of time, where they do say/emote, doing descriptions of what their characters are doing and interacting with other people as their characters. But there's a sort of this sliding scale of what it means to be RPing. And sometimes it's just as little as, just kind of joking around and doing silly stuff with your characters. And then sometimes it's, going into a dungeon as your character with a whole bunch of other people and RPing out, going into these Ayleid ruins or these Dwemer ruins or into Oblivion. It's kind of this sliding scale.
Okay. Cool, because I was going to say, as we were talking about this a little bit in pre-show, my wife, she hates when I play these games because she's like, you're playing a fantasy game and you always play human characters. And I tell her it's because what I try to do is whenever I play a game like this, I pretend that it is myself in the world. I try to create myself. I picked Nord because I'm of high German heritage, so I kind of fit that little Nord kind of fitting. And to me, everything I do in the game is like, we have like serious philosophical debates when we get the quests that have no, like where you have to pick an option, because it's literally, how would we answer this? And that's how I play the games. It's not okay, here we go, just pick this option. I sit there and think about it. They're like, yeah, okay, well, you can either, perfect case in point is in Balfoulian, you're given a choice whether or not to defend the docks or go and push the enemy out of the fort. And at first, like I said, I try to go at it from a tactical point of view, going, well, listen, if the enemy's behind, so we take the docks, they can literally just force us into the sea. But if we go behind, take the fort first, then they have nowhere to go. But it's thinking through what you as a person or me would do in that situation. That's how I always play these games. And I think we were talking about it a little bit. I do tend to role play my characters just myself. I don't actually... I'm antisocial.
Yeah, and I like to RP characters. Like, you'll never see me in a female form because I can't get into the mindset of a woman. So you'll never see me play one of them. And I don't really play beast races. I do play elven and human races just because I'm very, what do you call me, Morriel?
He's very specious. He's prejudiced against orcs.
It's okay.
I RP like, who can I be that I'm not allowed to be IRL,
Sure.
and I can fulfill that in game.
I always said to my wife, she's like, oh, but you can be anything. You can get away from who you really are and be this. I'm like, what if I like who I really am and just wish I could do this? She didn't look at me like that, but that's what I did. Oh, crud, I did have a thought and I just completely lost it. Dear heaven above, today is just all over the place. That's a shame. Oh, well.
He seriously just spit fire out of his mouth. I've never seen that. That's pretty cool.
Fire out of my mouth? Yeah, it's great. I am, my mind is just completely lost, and now I'm really sad. Because I had a good thought, I thought.
A thought about things? Were you thinking a thought?
I was thinking a thought, now the thought ran away. Okay. We'll forget that for now. We'll move on. All right, so for people interested in getting into RP, we're going to kind of step away from the Elder Scrolls for right now. What are the do's and don'ts in RP? Do you guys have like a list? Like, I know there's etiquette. Like, what do you do, and what can you tell like the people listening when you get into RP? Keep this list of do's and don'ts to be a good RPer.
Well, I guess the first thing to do is that there are kind of two major things. One, be kind and courteous, at least out of character to each other, even if you're joking around and calling each other things. Keep it kind of civil, because some people get really invested into their characters, and sometimes if you go a little bit too far, it can cause a lot of out of character drama. Also, one of the biggest rules is keep what's going on with your character and your own feelings kind of separate. Like I said, some people get really, really involved in their characters, and it ends up causing a lot of issues where, say, you get in a fight with their character and say, like, you call their character, your character calls their character a bunch of uncharitable things about their mother and their parentage, and they personally take offense to that. That's one of the big things to avoid.
Or
also,
even if you fall in love with another character, I see some people get carried away and they actually fall in love with that person's character.
I have heard of stories like that too before,
There's
like real creepy things. Ugh.
It's fine. Avoid romance. Avoid it.
If you're a type of person who tends to become infatuated quickly, avoid that kind of. Don't put yourself in there, or else then you'll just be blocked, and it creates seriously problems. And I do now remember what my thing was, and I'm glad I forgot because it was terrible. I can't say it.
And you don't even have to stand around like in a tavern doing things. There's like adventure RPing, like you may be a part of like a mercenary group and they're going into dungeons or fighting in Cyrodiil and doing all this other stuff. And so don't limit yourself to sort of one kind of thing. Also, you can make sure your character has a backstory that makes sense, has some faults, so they're not perfect. Just the same kind of things you would have if you were writing a character for like a book or something.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, all right. I'm going to say it. Now, this is by no means, please don't get mad at me or send all hate mail. I don't roleplay female characters either, but I do have female characters, and the one character I have is my alchemy and provisioning person. So she makes all my food and my potions for me.
Wow.
That's sad.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow.
As it should be.
I really hope when they release housing, your other characters can be in the house. Like when you go there, like your other toons are just sitting there doing whatever. Kind of like in Skyrim. Because all my mules are female characters.
Great.
I am married. My wife will beat me for this later, ladies. Please don't hit me now. So yeah, that's what I do. All right. So anything else with the do's and don'ts? Specifically, don't make female mule characters. You will get beat.
Oh, don't, like Crow was saying in chat, don't god mod. God modding is, say, if you are RPing with me and I type out, Decania slices off your head, that's god modding. I can't slice off your head because no one can kill your character unless you want your character to die. No major harm can come to your character unless you allow it.
Okay.
That's gun modding.
Also,
Don't
on
do
the
that.
other hand, if you let someone kill your character, it's your own fault they're dead. Don't go
Sure.
complaining later.
Like, when I killed off Cairo, I let them kill my character. And I was totally fine with it.
Does God modding also... I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong on the terms. Just because you know something doesn't mean your character does. Is
It's
that...
like, oh yes, I know the It's like, oh no, this thing has happened. Oh, but wait, I haven't ever said that my character knows this, but they know this because I want them to know this.
Mm-hmm.
That's God modding.
Because technically speaking, I know Almalexia goes completely bat crazy in the third era and tries to kill everybody. But it hasn't happened yet. So my character can't know that.
Right.
Correct. Yeah, that's metagaming, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what the term was. If it was metagame, like, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was God
It's
modding.
like if you see someone is a vampire, you don't know that, even though, like, out of character, I know you're a vampire. In character, I assume that everyone is well fed and you can't tell they're vampires.
Or you can go, and another example of metagaming that's pretty good is you have your backstory up on a forum, right? You walk up to me and say, hey, how's your father doing? I heard that he was ill. You wouldn't know my father's ill unless you specifically, if I told you. Like, you can't take outside knowledge that you found someplace else that was posted about my character and start talking about that as if you were there for when it happened when you weren't. That's metagaming as well.
Okay.
Also, specifically for this game, none of us are the vestige. That's just sort of a general rule all RPers have agreed to, is that none of us are the vestige. We have nothing to do with the main storyline.
That's probably a good thing to do as a whole, because how can everyone be the chosen one, I guess?
Dragon Break!
Dragon Break. There are now however many subscriber of different path lines right now. This is like the biggest Dragon Break ever.
We broke it. Good job breaking
And
it.
I do want to bring up, too, this is kind of like a touchy subject, too, but ERP and RP.
Ugh.
I think that brings a lot of negative connotations to the RP community because of that.
But it can be
We
used.
don't like those people. We don't like them as much as you don't like them.
Well, here's the thing. I think that ERP can be used in a right way and a wrong way.
What's ERP?
Erotic
Erotic
roleplay.
roleplay.
So say, like, you have a lover that you're role-playing.
I put on my robe and my wizard hat.
Yeah, but see, like, a lot of people do, like, Fade to Black, or you can RP it out descriptively. And I think that's fine if done correctly. But not a lot of people like to talk about because, like, maybe they're embarrassed that they do it. But for me, I think it's, like, totally okay if people do it, as long as it's not just, like... If it's, like, in the confines of a story, and it makes sense for it to happen, then I think that's cool. More gravy for you. But, yeah. That's all I want to say about that.
I guess my big concern with ERP in general, this also goes back to the infatuation problem. Don't ERP if you're one of those crazy people. That was really insensitive to say it like that, but it's true. I almost feel like ERP should be something done outside of game, or at least in private whispers, because it just brings such a negative connotation to... Yeah, I can't tell you how many times in Warcraft you go into, what is it, the subway, and you see like two people sitting there, Slash takes off pants. It's like, really? Guys? Seriously?
Yeah, keep it in group chat or whispers.
Sure. Cool. ERP. The don'ts. Unless you have consent. It's kind of like, there you go. Consent is what you need. Or else it's rape ERP. All right, here's something that I want to ask you guys and how you guys handle this. Specifically with the Elder Scrolls, because it has such a rich lore. And I won't say definitive lore, but it sort of does. Like, in-game, it's not really definitive because there's a lot of unknowns. And yet, when you think about it as a whole, there's not a lot of wiggle room. is that canon? How do you deal with somebody who comes into it and maybe messes up the lore?
You either educate them or you just don't RP with them. Me personally.
We actually had our last episode was on like artifacts. And what do you do with artifacts? And one of the things we were saying before is like, well, I can't just go up and say, hey guys, look at this Mehrunes razor I have. Who wants to get shanked first? Because like, why am I a super special snowflake that gets to have Mehrunes razor? Like, you have to just kind of like we said before, be considerate of things like, well, no one gets to have the crazy relics. And if you say you have it, be prepared for people to say, yeah, no, you don't. And just ignore you when you say that.
Okay. I'll say this for the people who are interested. If you really want to know lore, I know it's an extensive subject. Unofficial Elder Scrolls pages is probably your best friend. If you want to try something, you should probably check there to see if it exists. Just
that and the Imperial Library.
Absolutely. Imperial Library is mostly books. I like the books. They're great. But I like the editorials on the Unofficial Elder Scrolls pages. That's why I tend to use that one.
Go to Unofficial Elder Scrolls pages first, and that will give you almost everything you know to be able to just play the game. If you want to go real deep, then go to, look at all the actual books.
Absolutely. Books are the best part of lore. And Kipster in chat has his RP rate whistle ready to go, just so everyone knows. So be wary. All right. Cool. Yeah, because this is something for me, like, I'm a big lore nut. And Elder Scrolls is like my second favorite game in terms of lore. Lord of the Rings, of course, is my favorite. Middle-earth is great. But I love those stories so much. I think I'm getting feedback on someone's mic, by the way.
You are.
I don't know who it is.
Mine's off.
All right.
That's nine. I think it may be yours.
My mic is on.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting feedback off of it.
Turn it off for a sec.
All right.
Is that better?
Yes, much better.
That was you.
All right. Live shows are always fun. Anyway, because I'm so in love with the lore of these games and I really dig into it, this would be something for me that would be a point of contention when I would get to roleplay with people, because if I saw anyone bringing in the wrong lore, I'd be like, no, stop it. Stop it. It hurts me inside. And I think that's a personal problem. But I don't know how I'd be able to do with the someone breaking canon lore, because I would just probably flip on them. It'd be pretty rough. Not saying I know everything about the Elder Scrolls lore, because it is extensive, but it's still that's rough. Is there a place? This is perfect. We'll segue into this. If people want to get involved in RP in the Elder Scrolls Online, where would they go? And maybe where do they go to maybe post their character bios to get feedback? Because maybe they do have something that's not canon in their lore.
I have a perfect place. There is an RP community hub called TSO-RP.com. It is, I think it's on Engine. So TSO-RP.com, and that's where basically all the guilds have sort of kind of hubbed together. You can post your profile there, find guilds to advertise over there, be like, well, I'm a vampire looking for other vampires, and oh, hey, there's this vampire guild. Go over here. They're RPs. I'll go join them. Or, well, I'm an Imperial, and I kind of want to play like I'm in the Legion. Well, hey, there's an Imperial Legion guild over here. Or anything like that.
TS Fangirl just posted it in chat. TSO-RP.com. Have you guys went there? That's it. Nice. Sweet. But definitely check up on your lore, or else I will yell at you. I may not even RP, but I will stop what I'm doing to tell you you're wrong if your lore's wrong. Just saying. All right.
There's a lot of people in the RP community that do that to each other all the time.
Okay, good. So it's not just I'll come in from an outside source and be like, your lore is wrong.
No, we even make mistakes. And it's hard, too, because Elder Scrolls lore is very vague. And a lot of it's just like word of mouth or what someone says or what they think.
Which you could just roleplay that your character literally doesn't know or that's how they believe it. That's great.
Mhm.
But there's certain extensions where if it's blatantly wrong, I'd be like, there's no way your character could even fake something like that. Just, no. Stop it.
We actually, speaking of that, I remember to bring them up. I have 2 examples of people doing that. One, actually both of them in EP. One of them was, this girl was pretending to be the daughter of the last emperor, who had come to the Ebonheart Pact for Sanctuary for some god-awful reason, going to the Dunmer. And just all kinds of, like, special snowflake-like stuff. And the second one was, I think this was this Dark Elf Guild, and this person wanted to RP a drow. A drow from like Forgotten Realms from D&D. And everyone was just like, this may be the wrong game for you.
Yeah. Well, here's a perfect example. We just had it earlier when we were talking about the Battlemaster corner, and the person wrote that little RP little thing, and we got into talking about how a House Indral noble would not associate itself with an Ashlander. So to have being spawned of both of those, unless it was unconsensual or maybe a hidden affair kind of thing.
Like, that character would not be a part of House Indral. They would be probably not treated very well.
They'd be a bastard, essentially, because there would be no, and maybe that's not cursing everyone, that's literally what they're called. Yeah, not married, because you wouldn't be able to marry someone like that. The whole family would disown you.
He'd make you a wet nurse.
I'd make you a wet nurse. That could be it. Yeah, so they have no way of being in that house. They would just be ostracized from the family. So, know your lore, folks. Especially in a game like this, where the lore is so rich and so loved by so many people like myself.
But don't feel discouraged about learning the lore. All you have to do is like, okay, I want to play Dunmer. Go to the Dunmer page on the unofficial Elder Scroll wiki, and that's honestly all you need to do.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised how undaunting the wikis are. I mean, they're not pages and pages and pages of lore.
The Dunmer lore section, like you said, literally is maybe a page of data, but it will pretty much contain anything you need to know to get started, and maybe perk your interest a little bit to dig a little deeper, because the best part is they link out on at least the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages to make each individual article look smaller. And then if you want to go more, they give you links to other pages, which then just expand your knowledge further.
And another good way, and I know this is probably how you get a lot of your stuff, because I was listening to your other episode where you were teasing, I forget his name, but you ended up in a library, and you're saying that he was like, oh my god, he's going to be there for hours, because you guys like to read the books.
Mm-hmm.
Read the books. That's a good way to get some lore, and have fun while doing it.
Absolutely. That's why I level so slow. Delty will tell you this. I spend a lot of time, if I see a new book, like if I look at it and go, I haven't read that, I'll stop and I'll read it. Even if it's not a mage's book, if it's just a journal laying there, I'll read it. Because you learn so much about the world, about the characters you're interacting with. Sometimes you find interesting things that are going on that aren't even part of a quest, just by talking to people and reading their journals, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, and we also, on our podcast, we have lore episodes. Well, actually, every episode contains a little bit of lore, but we'll do, like, features on Khajiit lore, Nord lore, like, anything like that. We'll get people in from the community that literally only play that race, and we call them, like, lore masters.
Sure, that's
to
awesome.
Give lessons. So, if you're interested in that can be a fun way to do it if you don't want to read up on stuff.
There are a couple, like you said, ESO Podcast does them. We do them once in a while, but we also do the lore books that we read. There is also another fantastic... He doesn't really play ESO, so here's the problem. If you're using it to do your lore for ESO, it may be kind of tough because he did it from Skyrim going forward. Maybe it jumps back and forth. So knowing your timelines. But the Elder Lore podcast, fantastic presentation about the lore of Elder Scrolls. Albeit, again, if you're going to use it for RP, please take note that a lot of the stuff he talks about centers around the timelines of the 3rd and 4th era, like what was happening then. So you kind of maybe need to pull up an ESO time or Elder Scrolls timeline to see where that fits in, because it may not fit into ESO. But rule of thumb: anything that happens in the 1st era is free game. 2nd era, up to the first 500 years or so. There you go. All right. Anything else you guys want to say about role-playing in Elder Scrolls before we go ahead and move on?
No.
No.
Other than it's totally awesome.
Yeah, you all should do it in case you get bored with other things.
There you go. I know we actually had several people who, in our guild alone that we were playing with, who, we'll just say we're more conventional gamers, who randomly will go to RP events because it is something different. It's out of your norm, and it's fun.
Even if you just want to go observe them, that's cool. Just like whisper to the people doing, say like, hey, I'm just watching.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
It's cool. People let you do that. It's awesome. All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is our Tales section, where we get to talk about what we did in ESO this week. And as per our custom, our guest will always go first. So, Knight, why don't you tell us what you did this week first?
This week? Like just on Elder
Well,
Scrolls?
you've not been on the show before, so anything you would like to tell us, actually. Could be anything. Tell us the story.
Okay, well, me and Morriel made our first song about Malmore Man.
Oh my god.
That's awesome. And if you want, maybe we can play that since we're not doing Red Diamond. We can do another song of Malmore Man's adventures.
I'm fine with it. Anything you want to do, guys.
Oh god.
Sweet. Then we have to, since we're not doing Red Diamond, Morriel, we have to do that at least before the show. But
Jesus.
we did that. Also, I'm in the talks right now. I'm doing a side project. It's going to be a series. It's going to be like a story, right? And Crow in the chat here is a very good voice actor. He does IC character reading journals. He's a heavy RPer as well, so you know the stuff is good. And also, the Human Floyd. He does a lot of YouTube videos for the RP community. He's going to be, he's taken interest in this as well. And don't think I'm going to be in it. I'm probably just going to be doing like the recording and the production stuff of it. But it's going to be pretty awesome. So keep an eye out. They're going to be probably like an episode every 2 weeks. And even more, probably. Like, it's going to be an RP show, basically. It's going to be a story. It'll be good.
Cool.
Yep.
That sounds awesome. Speaking of, and I'll just throw this little excerpt in here. From the Elder Lore guy, he actually did this at one point, which I thought was a fantastic idea. He only did it like once or twice. I wish he would have done it more. But he didn't really have anything to talk about lore specific, like classroom study lore. He actually did a story based on... He kind of fashioned it like you were sitting around a campfire and someone was telling a tale, which was really neat. I thought it was really cool how he did that. And that's always fun. I like the little RP stories where you can just kind of pretend like, hey, you ran across a traveler on the road, you guys are camping, and he's telling you a tale that he has. It's really cool. I like
Actually, one thing we can do instead of Malmore Man, I can tell you about the Murder of Generations.
Ooh.
I'll sing the song of him.
I'm cool with
Should
it.
I
It's
play
this. I mean, if you want to talk about the hero of all Nords, the man whose axe never stopped swinging.
Oh, no, what we should also play is your IC book reading. Now, if I were to play something, would it feed through to the live stream?
That I'm not sure of if it would or not, unfortunately.
Oh, never mind. That's for the
Probably
host streaming.
Yeah.
streaming incoming audio. Never mind.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't work out all that well. However, if you guys would like to, you could always send it to me and I could add it into the end of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, if we want to do it that way.
Do what they say.
All right, Morriel, how about you? What have you done this week, or have any fun stories to tell us?
I did have an interesting event that happened on Thursday. Sadly, I've not been able to do much. I'm actually over at my girlfriend's house right now recording, and I managed to, at our charity event, I played for almost 24 hours, and because I was using a mechanical keyboard, I overstressed both my wrists. And so I've not been able to do that much. But what I did do is I did the next installment of a personal plot line of my character, Morriel, who is she's a female Bosmer. She is kind of like a female elven Indiana Jones, but with alien ruins. And what she did is they went through this fairly small-sized alien ruin looking for this particular amulet she's going to do a ritual with. And there's a lot of strange magical effects that got affected the party. Some of it like drive them insane. And they ended up fighting this lich at the end of the dungeon. And after this pretty titanic battle, they beat the lich and got the amulet.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best part about this game is no matter what, like you guys will hear Deltia and I's gameplay here next, and you'll see how vastly different that we play games like this, and yet it allows us to do so. It's fantastic. I love it so much.
I guess I also have another like PvP story.
Sure.
I can give that. God, I forget what... I had gone and joined a group of people. I forget what actual campaign we were in. But we were in... I think Blue was Daggerfall Covenant was making a big push down the map to just crush everybody. I was AD at the time. And we went over and decided that while they were pushing us, we should instead give everyone a little bit of time to be able to retake the keeps, because they kept reinforcing the keeps. And we couldn't, with the smaller gank group, we couldn't kill their Zergs. So instead we got with another raid group, and we split up into two. One raid group went up to Sejanus, the other to the other lower outpost. Was that Nickel's outpost or something like that? And
so,
we each simultaneously, like we in secret, like snuck all the way from like I think Blackboot and Bloodmane all the way up to each of those outposts, hit them simultaneously and took them while they were taking Blackboot and Bloodmane. And so the second we did that, the larger group pushed in and took back Bloodmane and Blackboot from Blue, and we managed to actually push all the way to being Emperor.
Wow. That's awesome.
It was really cool because we would all run ahead, stop, everyone goes in the sneak until they catch up. We'd scan the area, run again for another like 5 or 10 minutes, or a couple of minutes, stop, go, everyone goes in the sneak, we look around and check and see like where they all are, because we were just getting our faces pounded in. We had to be able to stop their reinforcements.
That's sweet. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our next person. Deltia. Still awake there, good sir?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, man. What have you done in ESO this week?
Well, I mean, not my usual 900 hours, because I had this wedding thing that soaked up endless amount of time, so yeah, that happened. Party Pyro hosted a Lobby PvP night on the Blackwater server, which is no veteran characters, so it's Lobby safe. People don't feel like they're going to get pounded by full legendary gear, people like me, and that was a lot of fun. I was playing like a level 10 Dragon Knight, and we took keeps, did some siege. They played for a few hours. I had to go, but it was fun playing on a Lobby character. Kind of gave us a new perspective. There's a lot of people that, you know, were playing like level 49s and stuff like this, cheesing it, but that was really fun. And then I just been doing a lot of PvP. I have a funny little story, but we have been trying to PvP. I've been trying to get these builds sorted out and what people want. So I put up a post, and it's kind of interesting, the builds that most people want. And so I can't update them all the time, but I can update like one per class. And so that's what I'm going to work on next. So I was just kind of tinkering with each of them and seeing kind of what's going to happen after this patch and how I can progress them. So that's what I've been working on in game. And then me and Angela on Twitter, she's watched my stream, and I don't stream very much because I'm not very good at it, I guess, but she kept saying, you know, do it or whatever. I'm like, okay, I guess if you guys want to watch it. I don't know how to interact with the community very well. I'm not a good streamer. So I'm like, well, I'll learn, I guess. So she loved it, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, hey, you know, come heal me sometime. We could kill a lot of people. I go, but you heal my Dragon Knight, we can kill everyone. So she came along. She's like, I'll be your pocket healer. All right. So I go, you got to have a Nova as a Templar. It's the only ability that doesn't have an AoE cap, meaning it can hit 1,000,000 different targets. I'm like, just drop it when I tell you to. It's using my team speak. We go in this keep. They got oil. They got fire. There's everywhere. I go, okay, get your ultimate up. Get ready to drop it. I talons the group. I'd use a couple different talons, so I got about 6 people at each talons. We got about 15 people in this choke point. She dropped Nova. I talons, dropped my standard. 15 people dead. Just the 2 of us. It was awesome. And I was streaming, I think, too, and you just saw AP go. I mean, it was like thousands and thousands of AP. and then so I kind of learned how to make money doing PvP. You can actually do it by getting all the gear sets. So I'm going to make a video with that later on. But yeah, things are slowing down this week for me, so I should be able to update a bunch of different guides. But I just really enjoying the PvP. I think it's going to be a lot better now that you have to be Alliance rank 6 to buy forward camps. It's just been a lot of fun. Just my Dragon Knight is so powerful. Cannot wait for the Grand Melee, which I think we're going to talk about later. So yeah,
We are.
It was a lot of fun. But that's what I've been doing, not my usual amount of time. And then there was a costume party on Halloween night that Akatosh put on at Java Who, and that was a blast. The guy looked just like, what's his
It
name?
was Shea Agorath who won,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, his name is Eben, but yeah, that's what his character
He went
looked like.
as.
Yeah, it looked just like him. He must have spent hours on that. But anyways, so that was really cool. And then today, Hard Contact, my guild, Medj and Kodog, did another really cool event that people love, which is they take them through Cyrodiil on a low pop server just to get their sky shards. So they can get all their skill points, do all the dolmens, get the achievements. And so they're doing that today. So really, we just have tons of activities going on for the community. Tons of stuff going on every night. So it's just great being a part of this community, whether you're in my guild or Akatosh or whatever. You know, AD's popping. So if you're looking for something to do, we might not be the best PvP faction, but at least there's something to do.
Right. Well, definitely, if you haven't had a chance to go out and get all those sky shards, you should come on to one of those events and do it, because you get a lot of skill points off of that.
I think it's
And if
literally 15 skill points to get them all.
Yeah, you get everything.
Yep.
It's a lot, and it's not hard. It's harder to do solo, but when you're a big group, it's easy. Set aside a couple hours, go out, join one of these events, get all your skill points, and then put them all into crafting like I do.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
All right, cool. Well, for myself, which I kind of got to play with Deltia a little bit this week, which was a lot of fun. Before I get into that, live server didn't do a lot, mostly because Thais was away and we only play our characters together. So I did a little bit of one of my Let's Plays on my mule. Sorry, ladies, but yeah. I was messing around with her a little bit, running around Ebonheart, the city of Ebonheart, and doing the... was it Anchors from Cold Harbor, part of the Fighters Guild. Still messing around with my Nightblade. I haven't really picked a build, but I'm probably going to aim towards One Shot Willie from DeltiasGaming.com.
No.
Yeah, because I don't play anything other than Templar, so other than my Templar, like I don't really read guides for my Templar because I'm really into the numbers and stuff with my Templar. But for other classes, I know nothing about, so I always look at Deltia's site for stuff. If I play one of them, I'm like, okay, what build? Go to Deltia's.
What level is your Nightblade?
Right now, like 12 or 13.
Okay. Do you like it?
Uh,
Yeah.
yes and no, I guess.
What don't you like, or what's...
I'm not a stealthy person, but I
Yeah.
am making her be stealthy. Like, I'm forcing myself to be... Like, even in Skyrim, we're talking about that, the most popular build, according to, like, the official poll, was the bow stealth build, or dagger build. I never did that. I did heavy armor, big weapon, run in, come
You're
at
like
me,
me,
bro,
yeah.
kind of stuff.
I'm not sneaking around. I'm not derp sneaking. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to force myself, because roleplay guys, I have a backstory for her. She's a Breton, yes. Specifically, she's a Reach woman, okay? And that's why I also made her my Provisioner and my Alchemy, not just because I'm sexist, because I'm not, but it sounds like it. But because she's a Reach woman, like, if you know anything about the Reach, they tend to be they're kind of into that whole alchemy kind of thing, that whole tribal kind of deal. So she was actually I want to say a slave. She is a slave, but she's a war captive who was taken by my main character. So now that's why she does all my stuff. She's bound to my character because I didn't kill her. So now she's, bound to me because I spared her life. So, but being so, she was one of these Reach men, even though she's a woman, and she was a hunter/archer kind of character in the Reach. That's what she was. So that's why I'm trying to build her as a medium armor, which, by the way, she only wears the primal armor, so she looks like a Reachman.
Why aren't you an RP with us?
I don't know. I do.
Now
my
realize,
RP is in my own head and with my own characters.
hey, RP is fun. You can come join our pirate crew.
When you're talking about the adventure RP, I could get into that. I think my hardest thing for me to get over with RP is while everyone's sitting around talking, I'm like, can we just go kill stuff? Maybe I should RP like a psychopath because I just want to kill stuff.
Oh yeah, that's Tavern RP.
Yeah, Tavern RP is hard for me to do. But if it were like, hey, let's all go explore this dungeon, I hear there's something out there, I could get into that.
Like, when we just had a recent RP event, we were going to take our first ship. So we actually RP'd out, okay, we need to overtake, like, this section, right? And mind you, it was was it Roka or Stros Mackay?
It's in Stros Mackay.
Okay, Stros Mackay. So basically what we had to do was, since there's no, like, baddie NPCs in the buildings that we were going to be, we had Morriel DM'd an event. So, I mean, you were still, like, killing stuff, but, like, kind of, like, imaginary, like, in your head, Like, okay, so I went after guard number 1. I swung at him low, trying to cut him at the knee, and then Morriel would DM, your swing almost hit, but you missed. And this happened, and then you have to respond to that. So it's like you're fighting, except you just don't see it on screen.
Okay. I see that. But yeah, I do tend to, like, all my alts do have backstories. Like, that's why they are my mules. There's some reason why they are. But yeah, she was always one of my favorites. But it is hard for me to, in case of, like, Deltia, because I make her, she was supposed to be a hunter-type person for the Reach, I don't play that way normally, and it's very hard to get into it. It's fun when I get those sneak shots off and stuff where, like, oh wow, look, like 90% of their health is gone. But stealthing is just really hard for me to get into. So
Stealthing is an art form in this game. If you get really good at stealthing, you just go through an entire dungeons without actually fighting anyone.
Yeah, if you have the trait that increases the stealth, yeah, then you can. I don't know. I was playing around with her. Like, I don't know. It sounds weird because I want to like her. I really do. Plus, she's a redhead, and I have a thing for redheads. I'm married, but it's okay. I already told my wife that I have a thing for redheads. She dyes her hair sometimes. It's cute. I don't know. It's hard for me to get into it, Deltia. Like, I'm following your guide, and I'm like, I can tell it's powerful. It's just not my play style.
You can play a Rambo Nightblade, but you have to use staffs.
Staff.
You can healing bubble and you go sap essence, and yeah, you can play Rambo Nightblade, but you gotta have staffs.
Yeah, I
Because
was playing a Destro Staff Nightblade.
Oh yeah, they can burn them down. But the weakness of the Nightblade is they're the only class that doesn't have a huge bubble or a big self heal. Every other class has some really big mechanic. Nightblades have drip, drip, drip healing, but they don't have a bubble. They don't have a huge self heal, and that's their downside.
It really needs some kind of a buff to Nightblade. That's a whole nother story.
And in terms of damage, though, Nightblades are like
they're incredible. But like, I mean, on PvP, I spent all week trying to figure it out how I could nuke people and not die. I'd go in there, nuke a couple people, die. I get on my Dragon Knight and I went on like a 97 kill streak. You know, it's like you cannot kill me. And then my Nightblade, it's like, what? Yes, I can stealth away, but that's broke. They still see me when I stealth away. So it's like, you know, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a really powerful stealth class right now. It doesn't. And so I just play the Rambo Nightblade where I just healing ward my face off, and I don't want to play like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, I know it's your section.
No. This is why we do. I like talking about it, but you know, like I said, we were saying, do I like it? It's like it feels powerful. It's just,
You know, the Warlock build of Nightblade actually works out pretty well for me. I do a lot of Destro Staff with like siphoning stuff, and it's good for soloing and running dungeons and stuff, but I've tried to PvP with it before, and it just does not work.
Yeah, I just get nuked. I mean,
You just get one shot by everyone.
you're just squishy because, and then if you play the stealthy Nightblade, you're using medium armor, which has no spell resistance. So everyone casting spells on you hits you like a truck. Instead of, if you're using light armor and using healing bubble, well, guess what? You don't hit me very hard now. It's so counterintuitive. You would think medium armor, you'd have all this elude chance and miss chance, but you don't unless you use the elude skill, and even then it's like weapon attacks only pretty much. It's not spells. So
it does affect spells, because I've used that as a medium. I've used that as a medium armor tank a couple times.
Well, maybe I need to try it again then.
right.
It was actually really interesting because we were in Craglorn fighting anomalies, and the anomaly just does. We had just killed like a storm atronach. Someone had focused down the storm atronach without telling us while the air atronach was up, and so we're fighting the air atronach, and it does its spin of death, and normally that would have one shot me, but I just you just do the little sidestep animation and you're perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up, yeah, because I thought it only, but if it does, maybe I'll need to try it again and just work on it, but I couldn't get it to work. I think I'm going to do a new build, and I'll preface this real quick. There's a set that gives you health back every time you use an ultimate, and Nightblades have the lowest cost ultimate.
Is it the Lord set?
No, it's a trial set. It's called the Shroud set. I'll link it in chat. But what I'm going to do is build this so I get like 700 health back every time I use an ultimate. And with that new ability, it's going to like increase my damage by 20% for 6 seconds. It's going to be super bursty. But I need to get those pieces before I do it.
Sure.
So, anyway, sorry, I know it's your story, but I had to chime in.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. And just before I move on,
quiet.
just in my defense, yes, all my housekeepers, quote unquote, are female, but Thais is just as sexist as me. She made a buff Argonian or buff Argonian as her housekeeper. So male Argonian. So it's not just me. Okay. I feel better now. All right. And other than that, I guess all I really did after that was, we did on the PTS where it was Deltia, Kipster, myself, and Aloha all did Veteran City of Ash. And if you haven't, I know Delty has a video. We have a video of it. It was a lot of fun. It was a gorgeous dungeon. When you walk through it, it literally feels like Oblivion, like Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Like, it was perfect. They did such a good job with it. Mechanics were fun. I don't think there was any real tank and spank. The first boss technically could be one, but there's 2 ads that you have to play with, and they port around. They're a pain in the bum. But there really wasn't any simple fights, wouldn't you say, Deltia? There was nothing that was just, stand here and don't die.
I mean, the trash ads, but yeah, it was...
Trash you don't count in fights. They're just there.
Yeah, it was it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was a lot of get out of red. It felt I wrote a little, my impressions of it. It felt like, not say natural, like you're going to fight a beast in real life, but to the point where it's like, it's not stagnant, It was like, whoa, it was dynamic and fun and exciting. But yeah, there was nothing like that going on. No, the trash mobs were simple, but everything else had some complex stuff going on.
Sure. Yeah, like I was the second boss or something like that. She's a caster who summons Daedra, and then she does this. It's kind of like the Nightblade clone thing, but she's putting fire on the ground everywhere. When they die, they lay fire on the ground. Oh, it's a blast. Even though, it's going up on Monday, but if you haven't got a chance to be on the PTS, shame on you. When the next update comes out, which will probably be in 2 weeks, if this one drops, we'll probably have a week of nothing, and then they'll probably put update 6 on the PTS. That's how it's always working. Get out there and test it. I cannot wait to see what's in update 6. All right, that's the end of our Tales section for this week. Let's go ahead and move on to the next section, which is our Community Spotlight. So, guys, why don't you tell us a little bit about ESO-RP podcast, where they can find you, give us something about your podcast.
Well, we can be found on Twitter at @ESO_RP, or you can go to our website, which is op-cast.com. That holds all of our news updates and our episodes as well. And we're also on iTunes. So if you just ever want to just do an iTunes search for ESO-RP, we're on there to download or what have you, stream it. That's basically it, right, Morriel?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you guys record live, or are you a studio recorded?
We studio record.
Okay.
Well, we do live at the live stream, but otherwise we studio record.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, our Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
Our Twitch is ESO_RP. And we do Saturdays around 7 p.m. We do live streams for the community. We're also going to be starting doing improv events. So if you're a fan of RP or just role-playing, come in and have a little fun with us, and we can do that as well.
What faction is that on?
Faction?
You said you're having RP events, or are you doing just all the
Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the live stream. We do. Yeah, it's we do the Twitch. We're gonna do improv nights, so you can come in an RP. Basically, you just role play out via voice. So we'll have a DM, and the DM says, "You're in this place at this time. You're with this person. What do you do?" And you actually voice your character. So if you're a Nord, you be like, I'm grabbing my axe and this and that. Or if you're an Argoni, you do an Argonian voice, or a Khajiit voice. This one grabs his axe. Something like that.
I want to go as a Khajiit. I may show up just as a Khajiit because I had fun last week doing the Khajiit voice. Just saying.
We came up with the idea because during the Extra Life event, we got kind of bored, and it was we started at 9 a.m. on Saturday, and around 4 a.m. on Sunday, we're let's do some improv. It's we were running out of things to do. So it happened. It was actually a blast. So we improv that sanguine cultists came into a tavern and all sorts of debauchery, and myself and a few others were holed up in a kitchen, and we had to RP out that situation via on camera.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like it. All right. Well, if you guys haven't, you should totally subscribe to these guys because it is an interesting podcast. It's different from any other ones out there. Like, it is. But really great. I love it. It's fantastic.
Thank
Go
you.
subscribe now. Just do it.
Should we play the Malmore Man song for them?
Do you want to do that?
I kind of
I don't. Okay, I guess.
Okay. Alright, let me
Wait, do you
just
want me to do it
bring this-
right now, or are you gonna give him the recording? Give him the.
Okay.
Give him the recording? All right. If you guys send me the recording, I'll add it to the end of the show.
Wait, do you want to do that, or we can do it live?
We just send him the recording.
Alright.
All right.
I can do that.
All right. Send me the recording, and I'll add it to the end of the show. Cool. All right. Next up on the community spotlight, last bit of news. This is really cool. The Grand Melee, hosted by the Art of Warfare, will be happening on Saturday, November 8th at 12 p.m. Eastern. This is cool, guys. They're going on the PTS, and it is going to be a one-on-one combat where what you have to do is, the registration's already over, sadly, but they'll probably be doing more of these. It seems to be pretty popular. And they will be streaming it on their Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/TAWTV. And there will be a special guest, which is a Tropos from Tamriel Foundry. Awesome guy. He's great. But what they're doing is when you register, you make 3 characters of the same build of one of each different factions, and you're assigned a color, and it'll be like a single elimination tournament, I guess. And it's pretty neat. Like, and they're handing out prizes and everything like that. First place prize is a $60 or 60-day prepaid game time card for ESO, and 50% off of the Elder Scrolls online digital store purchase. So that's always cool as well. Second place is similar, but they're going to be adding other prizes. Third prize is similar as well, but they'll be adding more to it. So it's really cool. Now, Deltia, what did you have to say about this?
Oh, well, I registered right away. I thought it was awesome. And this Elder Scrolls put this out, so it's hopefully one step closer to dueling. You know, if it goes well, you know, something might be in the works doing this. So definitely register to do it. Get the PTS downloaded. It's much easier to do now. And I'm glad the community is supporting this because I registered and I'm ready to nuke some people.
Excellent. I was going to ask you about your build, but I decided I'm not going to because you can tell us how it did after the thing. We don't want anyone to know what you're pulling out. So that's cool. All right. Now we're going to...
And they do something every night, and I help them out when they need it, but otherwise it's off the ground now. And they have, each faction has their own thing going on now too, so you don't just have to be Aldemary. But really, hard contact is more for, you know, constructive progression-based stuff, whether it's PvP, PvE, whatever, but we want to keep it moving and being at endgame, that sort of thing. So if you're looking for that, you can holler at me at Deltia in game. Mainly the organized stuff is in the evening. You know, we can't do all the organized stuff during the day when everyone's working. So, and that's North American server, and it's usually around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time is when we get things started. So, yeah, just come hang out, and that's at Deltia in game.
Cool. ESO-RP guys. You guys want to promote your guild?
Oh yeah, so we have a RP guild by the name of the Redwater Buccaneers. They are a pirate. It's an RP guild based in DC right now, and we are a guild of sort of high seas adventure, crime. Generally, we notice that there is a lot of good guilds and good guys in Daggerfall Covenant. And we realized there wasn't really many bad guys, so we decided to be the bad guys. Play the pirates, go on off and do all kinds of various vile things, and we're also sort of like, we're cursed pirates, almost sort of like the Black Pearl is that we are technically have this sort of curse of immortality we're working with.
Like the Kathringi in Black Marsh.
A little bit. Not quite the same thing, but if you get involved, you'll find out about it. It requires a little bit of sacrifice, but both literally and figuratively. But it's cool. We've got a lot of like heists, and we're in Glenumbra now. We did a lot of bad stuff in Strathmakai, so we ran away from there. And hopefully we're working on getting like a criminal syndicate up. So it's pretty good, and I'll sort of link that in the... Oh, actually it's a deleted link, so I'll have to actually link it to you guys to link.
Okay.
But other than that, that's about it, sort of what we do.
Cool. So when the justice system comes out, you guys are going to be outlaws?
Yeah, we will all pretty much be outlaws. There's gonna be a lot of stuff going on, but it depends. I probably will be an outlaw.
Sweet. Awesome. All right. Well, if anyone's interested in joining Wings of Fate, which is the friends and family guild of the Tales of Tamriel podcast, you can either contact myself, that's Aggelos, Aggelos, or at Tier Eater, Teareater, in-game for an invite. Get to hang out with us. We're on the North American mega server. Chat with all the hosts. I think, oh, cool. Got it. Chat with all the hosts, and yeah, just have a good old time. We have a great community. We love everyone in it. It's great. Also, for those interested in a little bit more of the hardcore side of things on the Ebonheart Pack side, a good friend of the show, Kipster there. Yeah, Kipster. Yeah, my Rent-A-Kip, has started his own PvE progression guild called the Dragon Guard, currently accepting any VR rank character with a serious intention towards endgame PvE content. I think they almost have enough ready to start trials. If Thais and I can ever get up to VR 14, they'd probably already have enough. But if you're interested, you should whisper him in-game. That's at Kipster, Kypster, and there we go. You may eventually get to raid with Thais and I if you're subscribed to the game long enough for us to hit VR 14. I don't know. Could be years down the road.
It'll take me a few years to hit VR 14.
Well, how often I stop and read books, it may. All right. We're going to move on to our second to last section, which is our emails, iTunes reviews. We didn't have any iTunes reviews this week. Sad, but we did have 3 emails, which was really cool. Albeit, I don't think I can count one of them because it's from Deltia. But we did have a special request from Deltia asking if myself or Thais could touch on Yakuden lore, what they are, and what their motivation is. For those who don't know, Red Guards are essentially Yakudans. They're interchangeable. Yakudans was the progenitors of the Red Guard race, who hailed from the land of Yakuta, which is to the west of Tamriel, kind of close to Glenumbra, if you will, sort of. Essentially, what had happened was the Yakudans started a migration into Tamriel, specifically the Hammerfall region, around the First Era, roughly 800 First Era, because their homeland, the continent of Yakuta, actually sank into the sea, so it's no longer there. Now, no one really knows what happened to Yakuta. There's some people say that it was a natural disaster, whether it's an earthquake or a tsunami or a volcanic eruption that actually sunk the island. However, there was also some theories that it was actually some internal strife within the Yakutan ruling party, and there was a civil war, and I'm assuming something that happened. One of the sides decided to use magic and destroy the entire island. It's not really known. Some people say it's one or the other. It's kind of cool, though. Apparently, they knew it was coming, so that leads me to believe it was, me personally, that it was closer to a man-made disaster than a natural disaster, unless it was like a volcanic eruption, because they kind of knew it was coming, and the Red Guards, or Yakuden, started coming over into mainland Tamriel in force. Now, where the name Red Guard actually came from was when the Red Guards first came over, they came in what was known as a Ragada in their language, or a warrior wave is what they called it. It was assumed that Redguard was just a phonic corruption of Ragada by the people who they were attacking. So the locals in Tamriel heard their term Ragada and kind of bastardized it into what we know today as Redguard. But the actual Redguards themselves are Yakutans. Yakutans are Redguards that came from Yakuta. So all this happened roughly around year 800 in the first era. And round 800 is when they kind of made their way into Hammerfell. So there you go. A little bit about Yakutans. Yay. Cool, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Heart War.
I love the lore in this game. It's great. And I always was kind of curious about how Redguard came into... When I first heard Yakutan, I'm like, obviously I know the Redguards because I knew the lore behind, Yakutans and... But I'm like, what is the difference? And then when I found out that when their migration came, they were known as the Ragada, that it was just, someone heard the name wrong. Did they say Ragada or was that Redguards?
It was Regatta.
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 I've heard it pronounced multiple ways. Actually, from the Elder Lore podcast, it was Ragada because it's two separate words. Ra space Gada. So
It's like Regatta.
Regatta. Redguard, yeah, could be either way. And there you go. So that's how the Redguards came into Tamriel as we know it. Yay, lore! I love the lore of this game.
Yay.
Motto.
I love it. Love it so much. So there we go. All right. Our next email is from Nate Lanson. Yeah. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly, sir. I know you're in chat right now. You're awesome. Says, great show last week. I wonder if you could give listeners a list of the best ESO-related people or accounts to follow on Twitter. Personally, I'd like to have more messages popping up on my Twitter feed from fellow players who comment on game news or what they're up to in game or writing about. Now, I actually took the time and actually sent him a list of people that I follow and that I think are really good. But honestly, if you check on Tales of Tamriel, our Twitter feed, just go into our followed section, and if I'm following them, they're talking about Elder Scrolls stuff. That's why I follow them. I have a personal Twitter account that I follow everything, so don't use that one. But if you follow Tales of Tamriel on Twitter, if you look at who we're following, those people talk about Elder Scrolls. So that's why we follow. So there you go. Couple notables, of course. ESO-RP. Yeah.
Thank you.
Elder Scrolls Off the Record, which is Elder Scrolls OTR. Tiso Cast. Deltia's Gaming. Aloha Wendy, she's awesome. Tamriel Foundry, Tiso Elite, some of the more personal people to follow. TES Fangirl, she's great. You should follow her.
Schmidtface 1.
Schmidtface 1, yeah, he's on my list as well. Who else do I have? Esteldian, he's in here. Wicked Gaming, That Road Guy, Java Who. There you go. Some people who like to talk about ESO.
Thanks, love.
She will call you love, so you should follow her. Tamriel Unchained, yeah, that's you can follow Garbrek for that. He's they're a good show. I like it.
Tamriel Unchained?
Yeah, it's Gamebreaker Nation's new podcast on Elder Scrolls. It's on YouTube now. I've been bugging Garbrek, who I think was in chat earlier, to put it on iTunes so I can listen to it while I go to work, and I think he's working on that, so it'll be both YouTube and iTunes coming soon.
Okay.
Maybe he'll tell me in chat if he's still here. Still, really cool guys. They go from kind of the harder core side of things, so keep that in mind. There you go, guys. Last email is from DoubleClick in-game. Love the show. I want to ask what you guys thought of like a fix he had. Fix for stamina builds and reasons to wear heavy and medium armor. 5-piece bonus increase... 5-piece bonus, increase in reduction for heavy armor, 50% less cost for block, bash, sprint, break, medium armor for 5 pieces, a 50% cost reduction for roll, sneak, break. Obviously, may need some adjusting, but what are your guys' thoughts? There already is a little bit of this in-game currently, specifically with medium armor, because that's what I wear. I think the last passive in the line reduces the cost of sprinting, and like the second passive reduces like cost of like your feats, your weapon skills. Deltia, what about you?
What do I think would fix medium and heavy armor?
Yeah,
Is that the
what
question?
would encourage people? And I think a lot of the current meta as we know it is going to change when the champion system comes out.
It's resources, period. Armor is crap in this game. You don't need armor. Armor rating's trash. What's not is spell resistance. Everyone uses spells. It's spell, weapon power, that sort of thing. The problem with heavy armor is that it's resource based. I started tanking way better in the City of Ash once I swapped to light armor, because I can cast. If I have a burst self heal, I don't even need a healer. I can heal myself with just block and block cast. The problem with heavy armor is that you get 0.15% of your stamina magicka back when you get hit. Not 15%, 0.15. It needs to be some resource. It needs to have some resources back. Yes, it's easier to heal me. What does that matter? I mean, if I can heal myself for the amount of health that's missing, I don't even need a healer most of the time, right? I just need to get stamina back. So that's the problem with heavy armor, in my opinion. Medium armor is simple. The defensives suck. Elude is okay, but nowhere near what Absorb Magicka or Immovable is. So I think they need to have that skill completely overhauled and updated to be something really beast mode, because right now it's not. So the defensives need to be updated, I think, and light armor is just too powerful. It's just too powerful to have right now.
Sure. Yeah, most of the most powerful abilities in the game are your class abilities.
Which
And they're
are
all
magic. Right.
Yeah. If there was a way of making some of them stamina, maybe that would change. The meta may change at that point, but right now, all the best abilities are all magicka based. Why wouldn't you have magic?
Or make it so like, okay, you get magic on return on heavy, you get stamina on return on heavy, but stamina is used to do everything else. Magicka isn't. I know we always hammer this point, but make it either that the stamina returns is threefold, or the soft cap on stamina regen is higher than the soft cap on magicka regen. Maybe make a Mundus stone that's really powerful for stamina regen or something like that. But the way it is now, I still use medium armor because it's fun and it looks cool. But honestly,
Heavy armor looks better.
Heavy armor looks amazing, but it's terrible.
Oh yeah,
it's terrible. I mean, it's just I can hit soft cap on armor and light. I can hit hard cap and armor on light armor with spells and abilities and glyphs and everything. What's the incentive? There is none. It's all about resources in this game. Try tanking Dragonstar Arena. You have to block, cast, and do damage. Heavy armor doesn't support that.
Sure. Morriel or Knight's Knight, do you have anything you want to jump in on this one?
I mean, honestly, I've been running one of my alts is a light armor DK, and I honestly have tanked with him, and you don't need heavy armor to tank. I've been thinking about maybe adjusting my Nightblade to be a tank and to just see how that goes, because I've had some people discussing things like kind of a life-stealing tank, but honestly, I don't even know. With heavy armor is kind of crap. Medium armor can work pretty well. The only good thing with heavy armor really is stuff like unstoppable, immovable.
Mm-hmm.
Elude is pretty good, and I've run that as a tank, but that only really works when I pair it with something like lightning form with my sorcerer, so that I'm completely capped out on both armor and spell resistance always. And I have a mischance for when people try to hit me.
Neat. Knight, do you have anything, or you just want to abstain from this question?
Yeah, yeah, you could probably tell. This is Spanish to me, all this mechanics, gameplay talk. It's interesting. It's just, I don't do much of it.
Well, for the people who are like Knight, who don't do much of it, you could visit deltiasgaming.com. He does all the math for you, so there you go.
And I'm gonna make a stamina build that works, not for PvE, but for PvP.
I would like to request Deltia make a Nightblade tank build that works.
Oh,
That works.
my God.
This is my challenge. This is my challenge to you. If you can somehow make some kind of Nightblade tank, even if it's just a life-stealing kind of tank, do it.
Well, I've been thinking
Hey, you've
about
been
that.
asking for requests, Deltia. There you
Well,
go.
I already got 12 builds to update already, but I was thinking about that. The Nightblades have no burst self-heals, so they're totally reliant on their healer, but what they do have is Leeching Strikes. They have the best resource return, so they're not as dependent on Luminous Shards and Potions to block, so there's that. Ultimately, though, you'd have to build it around helping your healer, essentially. But it's something I can work on for sure. Yeah, because I know I posted the tanking guide, and then I got all this hate that Nightblades are awesome tanks, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're probably right, but it's just my opinion.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk on essentially Leeching Strikes making it so you don't have to do much resource management. It's like, well, I never run out of stamina because I always get all my stamina and health back due to this thing.
Yeah, but the problem is, I mean, Dragon Knight, if I'm down to 1% health, boom, I'm at 34% health.
Yeah.
That's just so powerful. Templars are a beast tank. 1,000-point bubble I can have up at all time that reflects damage to you. I mean, that's unstoppable. Those two tanks
Blazing
are just...
Shield?
Blazing Shield's beast mode.
Nightblades do make good healers, though.
Nightblades make obscene DPS. Just watch Kipster in City of Ash.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just dropping Veil of Blades every 5 seconds. That's what they shine at. But yeah, and someone will make a build that proves me wrong. It always happens, and that's the beauty of this game. Is you can make anything work. Is it going to be the best in the game? No, but you can legitimately make stuff work. And you have to build your playstyle around it. You know, I'm the big derpy, run-in Rambo kill stuff guy, so I'm not really that attuned to the Nightblade. Or, you know, someone who loves sneaking around just might love sneaking around. I hate it. I want to go, I'm not sneaking. Come on. Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro.
Right, Dills?
That's what I do.
See, I'm the opposite.
Sit there, slam my
I am
sword
the
against my
sneaky guy.
chest. Come at me. That's what I do. All right, guys. It's time for the final thoughts of the show. So, yeah. Make sure you let everyone know where they can find you, where they can follow you, and give us your final thoughts for the show. Let's start with Knight's Night first.
Final thoughts for this show. I think it was fun. I learned a lot about gameplay mechanics, something that I hope I don't forget by the time I actually use it. But it's hard not to forget it because you have Deltia here, and he's always posting stuff on Twitter if you follow him, so it's hard to be that, disengaged from that kind of aspect of ESO. But, yeah, I think it was fun. I like the crowd that you guys have in chat. Pretty cool people.
Active chat room tonight. This is great. All right, Morriel, how about you, man?
I like this. I liked how this went tonight. I find out I have a very different play style than Deltia has. I am the sneaky guy, even though I'm a sorcerer. I like it. I don't get being in the RP community. I don't really get to talk mechanics with a lot of people, even though I love talking mechanics. So I'll definitely be watching you guys some more.
Excellent. And neither one of you said where we could find you, so...
I'll say, you guys can find us on, like we said before, on either our website, which is op-cast.com, our Twitch, which is, Twitch channel name is just ESO_RP, our podcast. Are we like ESO-RP at Podomatic.com?
Yeah.
And we've linked our Redwater Buccaneers RP guild up there, so you guys can find us on any of those places.
Okay, excellent. And Deltia.
Final thoughts of the show. I'm tired. I had a long weekend, so hopefully I didn't seem too down in the dumps for you guys. It just was, oh man. Wedding.
That's okay. I forgot half what I was gonna say during the show. I was like,
Well, that's not abnormal, but
shut up.
it's a great show. I mean, I like the game that it supports different types of playstyles, and it's not just the meathead PvPers like me, because we don't need more of those. We need probably less of those, but the game sustains a lot of different people, and it's a lot of fun, and it's going to continue to be that when we got great people like ESO-RP, helping people get involved in something new, and that might be different and might be their thing. They just don't know it yet. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
No problem. It was real fun.
Thanks for having us.
All right, and as for myself, I do want to thank my co-host for joining me this evening. Deltia, of course, as always. ESO-RP, thanks guys for coming out, because you guys are great. I love your show, because it is unique in this community so far. Like, there's not a lot of RP podcast. I don't think there's any, to be honest, other than you guys. So it's really nice. You got a monopoly on it, and it's nice to see you guys being part of the community, and just getting in there for the people who do like to RP. Because the worst thing I see from other games. Now I'm gonna get on my soapbox here real quick. Worst thing I see from other games is the RP community seems static and dead. Like, it does. You might see a little bit, but a lot of times RP guilds just kind of fade into nothingness. You may have a couple people who are who are there, but it's not a lot. It doesn't grow. They show very little growth. But this game supports such a great RP environment because the lore is so rich. The people are great. The developers are behind you guys, just like they are the rest of us, which is great, with sending out the messages about when new RP events are coming out. Great stuff like that. They really support the community, and I really think that it helps the RP community grow, because unlike the PvE and the PvP communities, which tend to naturally gravitate toward, people gravitate towards, the RP community is a little bit more subdued. So it's nice to see you guys in particular and the developers taking a stand and going, hey, we're still out here. We still like to do what we like to do. Come out and join us. Have fun. And maybe you'll get into it, I might even hop out one day and do a little bit of RP. Hey, I already got the backstory on my tunes. I just got to work on my interface with other people. I mean,
you don't have to, if you want to RP with us, you don't have to be a pirate. You can be the guy that we mug.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at least I know you can't kill me unless I let you do it, which is awesome. Excellent.
We can definitely detain you, though, and throw you in a basement and make you live off biscuits.
Well, that's kind of what I do to her anyway. Oh, sorry. Wrong. Wrong. Yeah. You can send all hate mail to Aggelos at... Anyway, if you guys want to find me personally, because I always forget to do this, my personal Twitter is at Aggelos, AGGELOS_WOF. That is my personal Twitter. I follow all sorts of stuff, mostly ESO and Witcher. That's really all I follow. I don't really care about other games. But I do follow a lot of different people all over the place, and where you'll see me.
Send him worms, COD 1,000 gold. He really likes that. So
COD 1,000 gold with worms, yes. I couldn't even afford it. That's how broke. I had to borrow money from Kipster.
Oh, he told me. Yeah.
I love you, Kipster. So you know.
Kippy.
My rent-a-kip. I'm gonna actually have to borrow money to pay for his rent-a-kip services. It's gonna be gross. But yeah, so you can follow me on Twitter. You'll see a lot of my personal stuff. I think all last week I was just showing off my anvil, so I was excited.
Whoa, that's a little personal.
That's right. I was getting my anvil back together, trying to build my forge back up. Need to make sharp things. Yeah, I like. See, I'm melee even here. That's why. You can follow me in game at Aggelos, AGGELOS. Send me a friend invite. Chat with me.
Worms.
I'm friendly. I do talk to people.
No, he doesn't. He puts you on ignore and says, "Don't ask me any questions about builds."
I do. No, I don't. All right. But I do want to thank everyone for listening to the podcast. If you wish to help support the podcast, feel free to donate via the PayPal link on our website or tell a friend about us. That's the best way you can help us. If you wish to contact us with questions, comments, criticisms, the website for the show is talesoftamriel.com, or you can email the show at podcast@talesoftamriel.com. I expect a lot of hate mail for all the things I said about my mule characters today. You can follow the show on Twitter at Tamriel, Facebook at facebook.com/talesoftamriel podcast. Also, feel free to rate and subscribe to us via iTunes. And if you missed the live show or want to catch up on past broadcasts or our YouTube exclusive content, subscribe to us at youtube.com/talesoftamriel. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Have a good night, everybody.